What is going on, guys? My name is Chaotic and welcome back to another Grand Theft Auto 5 video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be going over all the prices for the new cars, vehicles, aircrafts and so on that featured in the most recent trailer that Rockstar released early today for the Further Adventures in Finance and Felony update. Now do bear in mind the figures which I quote in this video are only estimations, as right now we do not have an official price list for these vehicles available to us. But we can make pretty good estimations based upon all the previous DLC vehicles that have been released into Grand Theft Auto Online over the past few years. So let's go ahead and get straight into things. So first of all, starting off with the Bugatti Reaper, a brand new supercar that Rockstar in fact shared with us over on the newswire just over a week ago, but it also featured in the most recent trailer. Now, as I'm sure you guys would agree, the Bugatti Reaper is a very good and attractive looking car, and for that reason, I would imagine it will be very popular online. But unfortunately, it will also be very expensive. I'm going to estimate this car will have a price tag ranging between $2 and $2.5 million. Now, upwards of $2 million may seem very expensive to you, and yes, it is. But do bear in mind, there are many cars in GTA Online that have very similar prices to this, for example the ProGen C20. Anyway, but moving on to the next car, this also appears to be a supercar. We're not entirely sure what this car is even called, but as you guys can see on the front of the car, it appears to have a Vapid badge. Now, although Vapid is supposed to be an in-game copy of Ford, this car looks a lot like the Aston Martin Vulcan. Although, as for myself, I'm not a huge fan of this car's appearance, it doesn't look all that attractive, but I'm sure Rockstar will make this car very expensive for the simple fact it does have that very unique look. And for that reason, I estimate this car will have a price tag somewhere very similar to the Bugatti Reaper, maybe even slightly more, but around about the figure of $2.5 million. Then, as for the third new supercar also featured in the trailer, unfortunately we don't have an official in-game name for this car, but it does look very similar to the Ferrari F12 from real life. And I have to say this car does look very attractive indeed, but as I'm sure you guys know, most Ferraris in-game aren't particularly fast, so although they'll still be in the supercar category, they won't compete and won't be anywhere near the top with the high performers. But just before you guys get yourselves too excited, just because the car isn't as quick as some of the others in the same category, it doesn't mean Rockstar won't make this car expensive. I'm going to estimate the car will have a price tag ranging between $1.5 and $1,750,000. Anyway, but moving on to the next vehicle, this appears to be a van, but it may in fact be in the SUV category. Nevertheless, it does have some really cool customization options, so by the looks of things, it will be highly customizable, and as you guys can also see, it has sliding rear doors. Now, most of the vans available in-game aren't really all that special and don't really have many customization options available for them, but by the looks of things, this van changes all of that. And because of this van's uniqueness, I would imagine it will have a premium price. It will be expensive for a van, most likely around about $600,000 to $800,000, and that's standard before any upgrades are even applied. And the next new vehicle is also an SUV. It appears to be a Benefactor based upon the badge, which you can see on the front of the vehicle, and in the trailer on the back you can see the three letters XLS, so that could possibly be its model name. Now, in the trailer we only see an armored version of this vehicle, but if it's anything like the Executives and Other Criminals update, where we received 4 different variants of the Baller, where we had a short wheelbase version, we had an armored version of that short wheelbase version, we then had a long wheelbase version, and an armored version of that long wheelbase version. And I would imagine this car right here will be very similar to that. We'll have the short and long wheelbase and armored variants of both. And if that is the case, the standard short wheelbase version will probably cost around about $300,000, and the armored variant will be about $400,000. Then as for the long wheelbase version, that will be about $400,000 as standard, and the armored version will then be $500,000. Anyway, but moving on to the next vehicle, this appears to be some form of new armored truck. I'm not entirely sure what this vehicle is called or what the real life variant of this even is, but what I do know is that this vehicle looks awesome, and I'm sure you guys will agree. Now, unfortunately, it is very unlikely that we'll be able to store this vehicle in our garage, so it will definitely be a Pegasus vehicle. If I was to estimate how much this vehicle will cost, I'm going to guess around about $3 to $5 million, which does sound very expensive, but do bear in mind, this is Rockstar we're talking about. All DLC vehicles are very, very expensive. and I've got a feeling this vehicle will be required if you want to transport contraband around the map. So this vehicle may be required if you want to become the CEO of your own organization as well as buy and sell goods. Now you may have noticed whilst watching the trailer that the Ennis Windsor is featured. Now it doesn't look any different to the current version, so it's not like it's going to be an armoured variant or anything along those lines, but my guess being is that this version is going to be a drop top or a convertible. And you guys can see in this image, the roof is different to the rest of the car in regards to colour. Now the current Ennis Windsor available in game will cost you $845,000, and as I'm sure you guys know, usually convertibles will cost slightly more, so I'm going to guess the convertible version of the Ennis Windsor will cost around about $900,000 to $950,000. But who knows, we may also receive an armoured variant of this vehicle. It may have not been featured in the trailer, but it's certainly possible, and if we were to receive one, I'm going to guess an armoured variant of the Ennis Windsor would cost around about $1 million. Now for those players that have played GTA 4 before, you may recognise this vehicle. I believe its name is the Tugboat, and by the looks of things, the Tugboat will be returning to GTA 5 in this update. Now I'm going to estimate the Tugboat will have a price tag of around about $800,000 to $1 million, but personally I feel that price tag is slightly too low, so it will most likely be more expensive, but then again, boats aren't very popular in GTA Online and they aren't really used. But it's certainly possible based upon the introduction of this vehicle that Rockstar may want to try and utilise the sea more in the update. And we also saw what appears to be a brand new helicopter in the trailer. Now yes, it does look very similar to the Super Volato that we in fact received in the Executives and Other Criminals update back in December of 2015. But I can assure you it is different. There are some details on this helicopter different to that one. So it may in fact be just a new variant of the Super Volato, or it may in fact be an entirely new helicopter altogether. Now you can purchase the Super Volato in-game for just over $2 million, but this new helicopter will most likely cost around about $2.5 to $3 million. Then as for the new jet, I'm sure you guys did miss whilst watching the trailer, it does appear to be a very luxury and premium jet, and it will most likely be a very quick one too, especially if it's used to transport the CEO around. I'm going to guess this jet will have a price tag of around about $5 million. Now I've got a feeling this jet may have numerous variants available with different liveries to choose from, and if that's the case, each livery may change the price. Then as for the red Cargobob, which we also saw in the trailer, I in fact had many tweets about this over on Twitter, with people wondering whether this would be purchasable, whether there'll be different variants, or maybe whether Pegasus vehicles will finally be customizable. Now unfortunately I can't give you guys an official confirmed answer because I don't know, but I can give you guys a guess based upon my thoughts and feelings. My guess being is that the Cargobob will finally be purchasable from the Warstock Cash and Carry website for the first time ever. But I highly doubt it will be customizable, but instead there'll most likely be a few variants available for it with different colors to choose from, maybe different attachments on it, stuff along those lines. But as for its price, you may recall roughly 2 years ago or so, there used to be a glitch on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions of the game where you could purchase the Cargobob even though it wasn't technically available on the Warstock Cash and Carry website, and you could do it for a price of $500,000. And that could very well be the price if Rockstar are to make it available in-game. But personally, I feel as if Rockstar will make this Cargobob more expensive because it's a new DLC vehicle. And for that reason, I think Rockstar will charge players around about $1 million if they want to purchase it. But moving on to the final vehicle featured in the trailer, this being the mule truck, and from my understanding there are many different variants of this already available in-game, some of which you can actually purchase. It's currently available in-game at $27,000, but I got a feeling Rockstar may in fact introduce a new version or variant of the mule truck with this update, which may be faster, more powerful, maybe bulletproof with bulletproof tires, something along those lines, and if Rockstar are to do that, it will most likely have a price of about $50,000. But personally I don't think Rockstar will add a new version of the mule truck in-game. Like I said, there are already plenty of variants of this already available in the game, so if that is the case, you can already buy it for $27,000. So there we go guys, those are all the new vehicles that were featured in the Finance and Felony update trailer earlier today. Based upon these estimations, it is going to be a very expensive update, and if you want to purchase all the new vehicles once they're available, it will most likely cost you somewhere between $15 million and $20 million. But I want to get your thoughts and feelings on these estimations. Do you guys think that my estimations are close to what you think the prices will be? Do you guys have any thoughts on any differences? Just go ahead and leave a comment on this video, and also let me know as well, which vehicle are you guys looking forward to most? It would also be greatly appreciated if you guys could also take a few seconds out of the video, click the like button, as it helps me out a lot. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd recommend that you do, because I upload all the latest and the greatest Grand Theft Auto 5 content. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.